YouTube! What's going on? It's Sully. Welcome back to the ASC YouTube channel. It's been a while since we had a video, so let's come back with some high energy. And you know, a fun little hypothetical. I know everyone in the sports world, whether you like football, soccer, hockey, baseball, tennis, golf, whatever you like, everyone loves hypotheticals. They love arguing them. They love playing games. So let's do a hypothetical of our own. What if you were tasked with building an NFL team from the ground up, from every single player on the roster, starting obviously, and coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator? But there's a catch. There's always a catch, man, to these arguments. Here's the catch. If you use a team, if you pick a player from a team, you cannot use that team ever again in this hypothetical. So if I pick Patrick Mahomes to be my QB, I can't use anyone else from the Chiefs, player or coach. Here's the breakdown of this roster. 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, all offensive linemen, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 3 cornerbacks, 2 safeties, 1 head coach, 1 OC, 1 DC. And a punter and a kicker because they're people too. Kind of. Before we get into my selections, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that. Hit the like button, because why not? And if you haven't joined our Discord, which has almost 1,000 people talking sports every single day, every single sport that you can name, hit that link in the description. It will bring you to our Discord and join it. Talk some sports with all the ASC family. And one more thing. We're going to do a little bit of a contest with this YouTube video. If anyone can make their own team that can go up against mine, I will reply to their comment. And if your comment gets more likes than my reply, then you'll win $25. Only 3 people can win, so the first 3 that do it, essentially the first 3 that break that like threshold. Good luck. With the first pick in the ASC hypothetical nonsense NFL draft, I select Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs to be my quarterback. He's the best QB in the league right now, possibly the most talented ever. I'll leave it at that. We can throw hands in the comments if you disagree. For my running back, I'm going to select arguably the best overall running back in the NFL, Christian McCaffrey. He's definitely the best two-way, dual threat running back. And there are a couple guys that you could put as number 1, but I think we're going to have a huge comeback season for CMC. He's going to supplant himself as the best running back in the NFL. For my 3 wide receivers, I'm going DeAndre Hopkins of the Cardinals, Julio Jones, newly acquired Julio Jones of the Tennessee Titans, and Devontae Adams, who I believe is the best overall wide receiver. If you don't agree, debate me in the comments. At the tight end position, I will be taking the number 1 overall tight end in the NFL. And he's not named Travis Kelce. It's George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers. I believe overall Kittle is a little bit better than Kelce, although he didn't have as good a year. He was hurt. The Niners were a walk-in hospital last year, but not this year. George Kittle come back here, going to be a beast. Now for the offensive line, the big dogs. Everyone knows, if you're really into football, you know the offensive line is debatably just as important as any position on the field besides quarterback. So let's get into it. With my first selection, I'm going to take the rookie, well, going into his sophomore year, Mekhi Becton of the Jets. Now, I don't think the Jets really have many other players to offer for this hypothetical, and Becton is a beast. In 2 to 3 years, we could be looking at one of the best left tackles in the league. For left guard and center, pretty much no-brainers in my opinion. For left guard, I'm taking Quentin Nelson, left guard for the Colts out of Notre Dame. I mean, this guy hasn't been in the league too long, but ever since he stepped foot on the field, he's basically been the best left guard. And for center, I'm taking Jason Kelce of the Eagles. He's also a beast. He's been around for a while. For my right guard, I'm going Wyatt Teller of the Browns. The entire Browns offensive line unit last year was unbelievable, part of the reason why they were so improved. I do think that Wyatt Teller was a big part of that, so I'm taking him. To round out my offensive line, I'm going Ryan Ramczyk of the Saints. That's some studs right there on the offensive line. Overall, a pretty decent offense. So let's move on to the defense. So for my edge rushers, I'm going Khalil Mack of the Bears, TJ Watt of the Steelers, and my interior defensive lineman, I'm picking Aaron Donald, of course, of the Rams. And I'm going to pick Jonathan Allen from Washington football team. I think he's a little bit of a sleeper pick. Man's a beast. He's going to have a great year. For my 3 linebackers, I'll be taking Eric Kendricks of the Vikings, Levante David of the Bucks, and Bobby Wagner of the Seahawks. You got a combination of guys who are elite run stuffers, and they can also play pass coverage. For my cornerbacks, I'm going Tre'Davious White of the Bills, Xavier Howard of the Dolphins, and Marlon Humphrey of the Ravens. That's an elite trio right there. My safeties, Justin Simmons of the Broncos and Derwin James of the Chargers. young guys, and Derwin James struggles to stay on the field, but when he's on the field, he's one of the best safeties in the league. That's the defense. Obviously an unreal squad. That's why it's a hypothetical. But moving on to the head coach, we're going with the best coach in the National Football League, Bill Belichick. I know he didn't make the playoffs last year, and Tom Brady was able to win a ring without him, but Bill is still the best coach in the NFL, and he will show that this year. So we're running out of teams to pick from this point. For offensive coordinator, I'm going to go with Kellen Moore. I don't think he's insane or revolutionary in any way, but the Cowboys did have technically one of the best offenses when Dak was healthy for the first 4 or 5 games last year. So I'm going to go with Kellen Moore. I'm going to give him the chance. For defensive coordinator, I'm going to go with my man Patrick Graham of the Giants. As you can see, I am a Giants fan. He does run a 3-4 in New York, and I picked more of a 4-3 system, but as we've seen from the Giants, they were a top 5 defense at times last year. I think he's able to take talent and he's able to produce on the field, and obviously this defensive lineup is loaded with talent. I believe Graham would be able to use that. For my kicker, I'm going to go with Younghoe Koo of the Falcons. That man redeemed himself in Atlanta. And for my punter, I'm going to go with Logan Cook of the Jags. That's it. The entire roster has been selected. The teams that we did not use were the Raiders, Texans, Lions, and Bengals. Here's a quick rundown of the team. Mahomes at quarterback, McCaffrey at running back, Julio, DeAndre Hopkins, and Devontae Adams at wide receiver, George Kittle at tight end, Becton, Nelson, Kelsey, Teller, and Ramczyk on the offensive line. On the defensive line, we got Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, Jonathan Allen, and TJ Watt of the Steelers. Our linebacker core, Levante David, Eric Kendricks, and Bobby Wagner. For our cornerbacks, we got Trey White, Xavier Howard, Marlon Humphrey. Safeties, Derwin James and Justin Simmons. Head coach, Bill Belichick. OC, Kellen Moore. DC, Patrick Graham. Kicker, Younghoe Koo, and punter, Logan Cook. If you think you can make a hypothetical team better than the one I just made, so 1 player per team, comment it down below. I will reply to your comment on the ASC YouTube channel. If your team gets more likes than mine, so people think that yours is better than mine, you will get $25. There'll only be 3 winners though, so comment early. Like I said at the beginning of the video as well, make sure you're subscribing so you don't miss any ASC YouTube future content. Follow us on Instagram at All Sports Culture. I'm sure you're doing that already. Hit us on the TikTok follow and the Twitter, all the socials, whatever it is. We thank you guys for all the support. We've been going like crazy on Instagram. If you guys ever have future post ideas or YouTube content you guys want to see, DM us over on Instagram. We're always answering DMs and always talking sports with you guys. But with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. We'll be back in the future. Goodbye!